Assalamualaikum to Madam Nurrohana, our statistic lecturer. So today, my name is Nurabiatul Adawiyah binti Othman with the matrix number AA250580 from the group Statistically Tapops. Will be presenting to you about our research, which is factors that contribute to students' academic performance. This is the research that we have decided to search on based on the program-based learning for the Statistic 1 with the code number DAS 10503. But worry not, I am not going to be alone as there will be my teammates who will further on explaining about our project. Next, I will continue to introduce our teammates. Alright, so this is my teammates. We consist of 5 members per group. Excluding me, there are only 4 left. So the first one would be Anis Humaira binti Rozilan with the matrix number AA251734. The next one would be Jacqueline Anajili with the matrix number AA250159. The third one would be Mariam binti Ismail with the matrix number AA251654. And the last one would be Mirza Akila binti Azani with the matrix number AA251157. Next, I will pass on the introduction to Anis.
Assalamualaikum and very good morning to Puan Nurhana. I am Anis Humaira binti Rozilan, number matrix AA251734. Today, I would like to make an introduction for our group study research. First, I will brief description of the study. This study investigates about factors that influence student academic performance, focusing on both internal and external variables such as study hours per day, sub duration, attendance rate, and number of subjects taken. Using quantitative research approach, data are collected through questionnaires, which is we use Google Form to examine the relationship between these factors and student study performance. These findings are expected to provide insight for educators and institutions to improve learning strategies and academic support system that enhance students' overall performance. The topic that we choose is student study performance is relevant because academic performance reflects students' learning outcomes and effectiveness in education. Understanding factors that influence to study performance help identify problems faced by students and ways to improve learning. This research is important as it can provide useful information for students and educators to enhance academic achievement. Therefore, studying study performance contributes to better learning experiences and overall educational improvement. The objective of this research is to apply multiple linear regression techniques on a real-world dataset collected by students, demonstrating understanding of data analysis, model fitting, and interpretation of results using software tools, which is Excel.
Hi, Assalamualaikum to Puan Hana. My name is Mirza Akila. My number matrix is AA251157. Today, I would like to talk about my methodology for study research. The methodology for the study for the requirement for the problem-based learning PBL statistic project. We identify the test mark as the dependent variable, where the independent variable are study hours per day, shift duration, attendance rate, and the number of subjects taken. To gather of data, we use a Google form to collect at least 60 samples from students to ensure we have enough information for a real-world analysis. Once the data was collected, we use Microsoft Excel as our main tool to organize the raw data and create frequency tables. We also use the software to calculate the mean and standard deviation and to build the multiple linear regression model to see how the independent variable affect the test marks. Thank you.
Hi, back with me again. So today I'm going to talk about the data presentation based on the data that we have collected from the Google Forms. So we have decided to create a frequency table because that's basically what it has asked us to do. So we created a frequency table that has an attendance rate, which is one of the factors that we have decided to choose because it ranges from 67% to 100% the maximum, which is 67 the minimum. So we have created a frequency table that consisted of attendance rate, class boundaries, frequency, midpoint, frequency times midpoint, midpoint square, and then frequency times midpoint square, and also cumulative frequency. From frequency midpoint to frequency times midpoint square, we have summed up all of the numbers so that it is easy for us to find what it has asked for. So for the mean, we can use the formula mean equals to the sum of x over n to find the numbers. So since we have found the sum of x, which is 587.5, then we can just divide it by 63 since that is the total of our frequency or the total of our data. So if we divide both of them, then we will get the mean for it is 9.33. Next up is the standard deviation. We can use the formula s square equals to 1 over the sum of f minus 1 in bracket the sum of fx square minus with the sum of fx in a bracket square divided by the sum of f. Then if we take all of the numbers that we needed into the formula, like we substitute everything that we needed into the formula, we will get S2 equals to 24.31. But it is not finished yet because we asked for standard deviation, which is just S. So we will need to put it into a root. So we will use the formula S equal to root S2. So we will put 24.31 into roots, and if you calculate it, then you will get S equal to 4.93. So this is how we will get our calculation based on the formula that's given, and you just need to substitute all of the data or the things that it has asked into the formula. That's it from me. Thank you.
Hello everyone, so my name is Mariamati Ismail. My matrix number is AA251654. So I want to talk about model construction. We have here is summary output. Regression statistic include 5 data, which is multiple R, R square, adjusted R square, standard error, and observation. Multiple R is 0.363. We conclude to 3 decimal places. So we round up is 0.364. R square we in percentage, which is 0.132. We can take it as 13.25. So for our observation is how much data we collected. For minimums is 60 samples, but we have here is 63 samples data. They answer with honesty. So we have ANOVA, regression, residual, and total. And for a coefficient, we conclude to take 3 decimal places. 24.918 is the intercept of y, which is b node. And secondly, 0.868 is the coefficient for study hours per day. We take it as B1. So third, negative 1.085 is the coefficient for sleep duration in hours. We take that as B2. For B3, negative 0.006 is the coefficient for attendance rate. And lastly, 0.516 is the coefficient number of subject taken, which is B4. So the multiple linear regression equation is y equal to 24.918 plus 0.868 x1 plus negative 1.085 for x2 and plus negative 0.006 for x3 and plus 0.516 6 for x4. So we have for p-value, if question asks at a equal to 0.05, can we conclude that neither of the independent variables is related to the dependent variables? 4. So the solution is build a hypothesis. We got here is H node is B1 equal to B2 equal to B3 and equal to B4 equal to 0. So for second, H1 is B1 not equal to 0 for at least one I. P-value for coefficient we got a 0 and there's no p-value for coefficient x, which is not below to 0.05. Therefore we reject H1 and accept H node. So at least one of the independent variables is not related to the lattice mark. So there's no independent variables that related to the lattice mark.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Anajili. Now I will present of the multiple linear regression results. To begin with, based on the multiple linear regression results, this model was developed to explain how study hours, sleep durations, attendance rates, and the number of subjects taken influence students' lattice marks. The regression model is expressed as lattice mark equals 24.918 plus 0.868 study hours minus 1.085 sleep durations minus 0.010 attendance rates and plus 0.516 numbers of subjects. Firstly, study hours per day show a positive relationship with academic performance. Specifically, the regression's confidence of 0.868 indicates that every additional 1 hour of study is associated with an increase of approximately 0.87 marks in the lattice mark, assuming other variables remains constant. On the other hand, sleep durations demonstrates a negative relationship with the lattice mark. In particular, the confidence value of negative 1.085 shows that an increase of 1 hour in sleep durations leads to a decrease of about 1.09 marks, highlighting the importance of balanced time management. Next, attendance rate has a very small effect on academic performance. Numerically, the coefficient of negative 0.010 indicates that a 1% increase in attendance rate reduces the lattice mark by only 0.01 marks, which is particularly negligible. Additionally, the number of subjects taken shows a weak positive relationship with academic performance. Based on the results, the confidence value of 0.516 indicates that taking one additional subject increased the lattice mark by about 0.52 marks, although the effect is relatively small. For a statistically perspective, at the 5% significance level, none of the independent variables are statistically significant. For example, the lowest p-value is observed for sleep durations as 0.064, which is close to but still above that 0.05 thresholds. In terms of model fitness, the R-square value of 0.132 indicates that only 30.2% of the variation in students' latest marks is explained by this model. Furthermore, the significant F value of 0.079 confirms that the overall regression model is not statistically significant at the 5% level. Moving on to other analysis. The model shows a logical relationship between the variables and academic performance. Its explanatory power remains limited, as a large proportion of the variations in marks is influenced by other factors. Therefore, these findings suggest that additional variables such as motivations, learning strategies, and teaching quality should be included in the future studies. By incorporating these factors, the regression model can be improved to better explain students' academic performance. That's all from me. Analysis and other analysis. Thank you.
So we finally reached the end. The conclusion is this research project has successfully applied multiple linear regression techniques to understand better the relationship between students' habits and their academic performance. So, our key findings show that factors like study hours, sleep duration, and academic attendance rate plays a pivotal role in determining the latest test marks of each student. This result imply that academic success is not just about intelligence, but also about how well students manage their daily time and health wisely. However, there are some limitations to this study that should be mentioned. For example, we only collected 60 samples for minimum, but we have here is 63 data that we have collected, which is a small group, and the data from the Google form depends on the honesty of each person. Despite these limits, the study provide a helpful guide for students to improve their grades by focusing on the right habits. This assignment has also helped our group members work together to learn how to clean, analyze, and present using data Microsoft Excel. Thank you.